Hey sis, if I were to ask you what you think is the number one women's issue black women have, what would you say? As we approach Domestic Violence Awareness Month, October 2025, it's an opportunity for black women around the diaspora to closely look at what could be argued very easily as the top women's issue that impacts us the most, misogynoir. You've heard the term misogynoir, I'm sure, in my essay, A Quick Global Look at Black Femicide, which, if you are watching this on YouTube, we'll link it in the description box below. If you are listening in on Substack or reading it there, it will be linked in the actual essay. In this essay that I've written, we can see black women losing their lives in not just one confined location. It's a global issue for black women, making it very real, very present, and something we need to stop letting slide. Misogynoir is like a subcategory of hate towards black women, and where things like domestic violence and femicide can linger due to misogynoir. And it should be called out as we go through Domestic Violence Month and beyond. In 2008, while writing her dissertation, Dr. Moya Baily coined the term misogynoir, blending the word misogyny, meaning sexism, the French word noir, black, described the particular type of misogyny black women experience, especially in media and pop culture. Understanding misogynoir and why it matters. I started the conversation with black women about misogynoir in Daily Notes for Black Women number 22. And if you are listening to this on YouTube, that will be linked for you directly in the description box. If you are on Substack, then it will be directly in the written essay. You will find it there. Misogynoir isn't simply racism plus sexism. It's a uniquely combined oppression made very visible when gendered stereotypes are applied exclusively to black women, not other women, nor black men. It's not only about hurtful words, it's cultural. And as the years have gone by, for any woman of a similar age to myself, so if you're an 80s baby, you've probably noticed that the culture of misogynoir has become totally acceptable within the black diaspora. So acceptable that even other women get involved in the act of hate towards black women based on her appearance, such as Erica Mena, when she called a dark-skinned black woman a monkey. We can also include comments from Cardi B that she has made about black women. Yet, black women still support these non-black women who degrade them. What makes them any different to the black men or other races of men and women who do the same thing? On the other hand, it's not always an attack on the physical attributes or appearance of black women. As the Blackburn Centre puts it, it's about seeing black women as threatening or angry whenever they speak up, and the statistically higher maternal mortality rate black women face due to medical bias. Medical bias is something that has been found a lot in the USA, and it's something that has had a lot said about it and written about. As of 2025, there was a report that I got hold of that's based in the UK. It cites the maternal mortality rates for black women in the UK, which I do also plan to do a deep dive into, sharing highlights of this report as we go through Domestic Violence Month. What can be done about misogynoir? To tackle the culture of misogynoir, along with the high rates of domestic violence and fatalities of black women, the starting point could be to recognise it when you see it and not dismiss it as a joke. And I put joke in quotation marks because it's never a joke. Once it has been identified, call it out loudly. No matter who is or was committing misogynoir, they should be confronted, reminded of what they're doing. Black women should be defended, and the person should be handled accordingly by every black woman in the diaspora. I say black women in the diaspora, as there's no way, in my opinion, we can count on black men to assist us with this one, as they are probably the biggest contributors to misogynoir. Sounds like a big statement to make? No, not really. Not when you consider the evidence. Kodak Black as an example. Now, it's amazing to me how dark-skinned men have the nerve to fix their tongue to say anything negative about dark-skinned black women. Kodak Black was one of these men when he made comments about Kiki Palmer, I believe, and his dislike, to use his words, of black girls like that. Now, his interview and comments can be seen here. If you are watching this or listening to this on YouTube, I will put the link in the description box. If you are catching this on Substack, you will find it directly in the written article, in the written essay. You can click the video and you can listen in. Tyrese, the bitter baby daddy, is a black male celebrity, also of a darker hue, who has a habit of using negative stereotypes of black women against his black female ex-partners. Now, again, if you are catching this on Substack, there is a link which gives a separate report on Tyrese and his actions and what he's done. If you are listening to this on YouTube, I will make sure I link it in the description box. The thing with Tyrese is he is the bitter one and a full-blown bitter baby daddy, in my view. He has a reputation and a documented history of this with black women he has had children with and his preferences, which I made a strong case for when I featured him, among other men, in my essay, 3 Characteristics of the Bitter Baby Daddy. So again, if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, that video might just pop up here somewhere in the right hand corner as I'm speaking, or it will be linked in the description box. If you are catching this on Substack, then it will be directly linked in this essay in the written version. Now, these are just 2 examples of how celebrity black men contribute to misogynoir. We also have Chris Brown, 50 Cent, Chris Rock, Attell. The list really does go on. The black manosphere also has a well-documented history of it. Then we have the everyday average Joe black man on the street, or black male on the street, who wants to contribute, as he is influenced by the celebrities, the black manosphere, and also the culture of tolerance of hate towards black women. In media and online spaces, the charity Glitch found that online attacks against black women were the most racially charged and gendered of all groups examined in their research report, Understanding Digital Misogynoir. This report is from the UK, I believe, and if you are catching this on YouTube, I will link it in the description box. Again, if you're on Substack, then just refer to the actual written article and you will see it there. Misogynoir versus domestic violence versus femicide. Misogynoir is not less or more important than domestic violence. It's also not less or more important than black femicide. What it is another subcategory of abuse black women must combat. One that should not be forgotten, that's to say. Misogynoir, it could be argued, is the root cause of things like domestic violence rates that are sky high for black women, and also the high femicide rate, simply because the dislike, hate and devaluing must be present for a man to carry out an act of DV or take a woman's life, and or stand back as an onlooker when other members of society mistreat black women. This is to say, when black women are not defended or protected by black men collectively, but more likely they are targeted by the men in their community, which studies and statistics actually show, and much of it I have shared in my writing. This is not just me making that statement. In this situation, when we are targeted by those who should be taking a stand against it, it shows that the hate, dislike and devaluing of black women is already there and present within the community and black men as a culture, which allows them to stand back onlookers or take part as the main protagonists in things like DV, misogynoir and black femicide. This is also why I have advocated for black women to be prepared to take a stand against this, hold these men to account and feel no way about it. Black women, we only have each other. You know this, and we have heard it before, and it is very true. As we move closer to Domestic Violence Awareness Month this October, be on the lookout for misogynoir. And remember, misogynoir is not just an academic term, it's an everyday reality for black women, especially darker skinned black women. That said, together we can reclaim respect. We can rewrite histories so that we are not the most disrespected member of society, as Malcolm X once put it, We can live out loud with love for each other as Black women and stop allowing other situations, people, places, or things to divide us as women, regardless of where we are from in the diaspora. We actually don't need Black men, or any men for that matter, to love us if they don't want to and if they wish to continue in their participation of misogynoir. We are enough individually and collectively. So with that in mind, call out the misogynoir and call it out loudly. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening in if you made it this far with me. If you do enjoy this kind of content, then consider subscribing. It would be great to see you here again. And if you're on Substack, thank you so much for being here. Much love, the Black Woman Essayist.